You make me up a little drinky drink. This segment is brought to you by Sir Davis. Let me see. All right, I found this new mushroom elixir. That's what they're calling it. Mushroom elixir. Right? It's supposed to have a bunch of healing properties. Ginger, turmeric, reishi, chaga, and turkey tail mushrooms. A whole bunch of healing properties. But that's going to be our ginger, you know what I mean, mix for the Sir Davis. The Sir Davis and the ginger drinks actually go good together. There's some more ingredients that go with it, like lemon and a little honey syrup. But I ran out of the honey syrup, though, so we're just going to, raw dog it on ice. Look at that. Come on, man. You gotta have a glass shaker with the measurements on it. Right? Okay. Of course, my cup. You know what I'm saying? With the big cube piece of ice. Yep. Let's see what we want to go with. We want to go a good. We're gonna go about 3 ounces, right there. 3 ounces. Premium whiskey. All right. I really didn't even need a shaker for this, but. You know? Put this back on there. You really shake it up. Pressure. See, that pressure is coming. That's that from that ginger drink. I gotta clean that up. So now, what you want to do is come through here and pour you up something special. You know? I really didn't need this mixer for this at all. Cheers. That's tenderism. Yeah. Sir Davis and ginger, they go together. Now let's get into this podcast. What's going on, y'all? It's Kilo, and we are back for another episode of the regular podcast on the regular network.
It's real.
So what's his name again? Kilo?
Shout out my Kilo, man. Kilo in the mother building.
All right, y'all. What's good? What's cracking? What's cracking? It's been a long time, but don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. It's been like 3. When was the last time I came on here? It was like October 10th or 11th, something like that. So apologies. I've been busy, but that's not an excuse, because me saying I've been busy is really a lack of consistency. Really, I've been procrastinating. Every week I come up with topics. I type them in my phone. I type them in my notes app. And then I just end up not coming down here and recording. You understand? So it's been an extreme case of procrastination. But since I put out a post this week and told people it's time for me to really start getting serious about my re-socialization, about my reacclimation with society and getting back outside and things like that, part of that is the podcast and marketing myself, networking, meeting babies and shaking hands, all that, whatever they say, right? So before we really jump into it, please make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you comment your thoughts below. If you have a second, please share. Please tell your friends that they should watch. Take little screen grabs of whatever pieces you think sound good, whatever you think you agree with, whatever you disagree with. Please put it in in your own social media, on your own social media, and let's have a good time. So, how's everybody's last month been? October went by so fast. I'm going to tell you a story how fast October went for me. Excuse me. Shout out to Sir Davis. Sir Davis, I'm drinking this. Beyonce, get with me, man. I might be able to help your brand out. Let me tell you how fast it went for me. So 3 days ago, I'm on Instagram and I come across the golf tournament. Now, mind you, I'm looking at Instagram stories and all this type of stuff, right? So a young lady posted that she was at this golf thing. But so I click on Blackballed Golf, which is a black-owned golf apparel company. I click on it. They have advertisements for this golf tournament, right? Again, this was like 3 days ago. They're advertising a golf tournament on October 30th. I'm looking at it on like November 4th, right? So I'm looking at this golf tournament. I'm like, oh, that would be something fly to go to. Let me go to the website, see if I can find some tickets. So I'm searching all over the websites, like, where can't I find the tickets? Like, where's this at? I'm going all over the place, checking the website. I go back to the Instagram page, say, oh, they got a different link in a link tree. Let me hit this other link, right? This other link take me directly to the tickets. I clicked the other link, and it took that long. It took like 10 minutes of me searching for the tickets for me to realize it's November. October 30th is past already. This how fast October went in my mind that I did not realize. As I was searching, of course, I know what month it is, but while I was searching, I lost track of my life. And I was lost in time somewhere. I did not think about the fact that it's already November and Thanksgiving is only 3 weeks away now. That's crazy to me. I'm not understanding how, tempus fugit. This is a Latin phrase for time flies. That is so serious right now. But shout out to Big Bank. He hosted that tournament. Shout out to all the men and women that came out there. It looked like a great event. I wish I would have known about it ahead of time. I would have gone out, participated in that tournament. That looked like a great place to network. I've seen a lot of VIPs in Atlanta there. I missed out. I can tell that I missed out. Shout out to them. And I'm not good at golf. I suck at golf. But I still would have gone and checked it out, though. Right? Now, in other news, today I went to my daughter's school and did my very first career day. And it actually went great. Now, of course, if you watch the show and all this, I'm a software developer. That's what I do for a living. However, because I was dealing with first graders, I said, what the better thing I should do is bring my camera equipment and show them what it's like being a content creator. So I take my camera, my tripod, I bring my GoPro, I bring the strap that you can wear the GoPro across your chest. Show that to them, show them everything. I let each child come up and look behind the camera to actually see what the back of a camera looks like. This is a Nikon D7500. This is low tier when it comes to like professional cinema cameras, which this is not a cinema camera at all. But when people who make high-end content, this would be considered a low-end or a hobby level camera, right? However, I still knew that it was advanced for young children. So I let them all come back and see what it looks like on the back end. I let them move the tripod. Now, the tripod I have is a heavy duty tripod. You understand? So I let them move it back and forth, pan left to right. They thought it was pretty cool. So each child got up. They got a chance to do that. And then at the end of my presentation, because I also talked to them about what is merch, I asked each child, hey, who's your favorite YouTuber? What's your favorite YouTube channel? They all, Mr. Beast was a popular one. Ben Azalart was a popular one. The other ones I didn't really know about. But a lot of them seem to be around gaming, like Minecraft and Roblox and stuff like that. So that was interesting to hear what the little kids, like these are 6-year-olds, right? So it was interesting to hear what the little kids were interested in. And then at the end of the presentation, I let each child come up to the camera, talk on the camera, say their name, and say what they want to be when they grow up. So I felt like it went so good. I was a little pumped up about it. I ended up editing the video because I was recording. I edited the video already. And the only thing I have to do is go back and add the kids' names to the video. Because it was, I get a little fired up when it comes to the youth. Why somebody is sending me a Teams message at 9:46 p.m. is beyond me. However, I get a little fired up about the youth and stuff, so I edited that video up very quickly. And it's a fun video, man. You know, it's all these little kids and stuff like that. And of course, like I said, this is my daughter's class, so she was very happy. That's how I helped wake her up this morning. She was real drowsy. I was like, hey, I'll be coming. Today is career day. Guess what? I'll be in your class. And she woke up immediately and was happy from then on. So, yes, that's what I did. Now, one thing I got a little, listen, the high school that I went to, Youngstown Early College, y'all have violated me for too long. How is it possible? I was part of the first graduating class. And I'm somebody who does work in the community. I'm somebody who has made it to some level of success. And y'all don't ever ask me to come back and speak to these kids. I don't understand that. I would make that trip back home to Youngstown in a heartbeat to come talk to kids at early college. There's a lot that I would need to say to them because me and the people that were around me back in those days, we almost destroyed it. That's not a good thing. But what I'm saying is, look how I turned it around. I don't know, some other people might have turned it around. I definitely turned it around. And I have a lot of valuable information to speak to the kids about. Also, first graduating class, like the things that they could just learn a lot from us. Okay. Shout out to Youngstown Early College, whoever's running it. Again, I'll say this again for anybody who might hear this in Youngstown. If you know where Larry Johnson is at, tell him I'm trying to get in contact with him. If you don't know what my real name is, just show him a video. Take a screenshot of this and show it to him. He'll know what my name is and he can tell him to reach out to me. Okay. I'm trying to get in touch with him. Okay. Speaking of Youngstown, the election was this week. Excuse me. The reason I care about what's going on in Youngstown is because of my hometown, so it matters to me. The election for mayor was this week, and there was an upset. Tito Brown was the mayor prior to this week. Well, he's still the mayor now until December 31st. Shout out to Tito Brown. I've been knowing Tito Brown. He's an elder to me. I've been knowing Mr. Mayor Tito Brown since I was a kid, 8 years old. His son was on the same Little League football team as me, so he was around helping and stuff like that. And I just been knowing him ever since then, right? Not personally, not on a close level, but knowing who he is. Been around his son a million times. His son is cool, right? He's a popular person in Youngstown. He's been around for a long time. He has a lot of family in Youngstown. He won mayor 2 terms. So he has been the mayor since 2017, I think they said. And finally, the people have spoken and said, you know what? We need change. He ran as a Democrat. The person that beat him, his name is Derek McDowell. He ran as an independent. Now, the last mayor to win the Youngstown election as an independent was Jay Williams, who was a very transformative mayor in Youngstown. Jay Williams was such a transformative mayor in Youngstown that he won in a landslide, first of all, during his second term. But he made such a stir that Barack Obama himself came to Youngstown and took Jay Williams from the mayor's seat and brought him to the White House to work for Obama directly. So literally in the middle of being mayor, he got a job working at the White House with Barack Obama. And he said, I'm resigning from mayor. Y'all can have it. I'm gone. This is what type of person that person was. Okay, so people are hoping that Mr. McDowell can come with that same type of energy, that same type of transformative energy, right? By the way, if this comes across Jay Williams' desk, I want to interview you. So I know you're up in Hartford, Connecticut doing your thing. I feel like the Illuminati might got something to do with this. I don't understand how you get snatched up from Youngstown, D.C., then Hartford, Connecticut. I'm not sure. Running a local nonprofit that's super centralized, super localized anyway. I don't have full understanding, but hopefully I can have a conversation with you and maybe you can explain it to me better. But got a lot of respect for your career. Anyway, McDowell. Now, here's the controversy around Mr. Derek McDowell. He ran as an independent, but there's rumors surrounding his name. Now, he's a black man, right? There's rumors surrounding his name saying he's actually a MAGA supporter. Like he's a undercover secret MAGA supporter. That's what they're saying. I'm not sure where it came from because there's no evidence online anywhere that he has supported or openly supported anybody, any right wingers or any MAGA people or Donald Trump himself, right? There's no proof of it online. But here's what's interesting. A right winger. Let me pull up my screen. Give me a second. Somebody with some money in the Republican Party decided to give Mr. McDowell a large donation. Not large, but relatively sizable for an independent in Youngstown, Ohio. A $5,000 donation. Let me see if I can find somebody actually screenshot a message that went out. Give me a second. If I find it, I can pull it up. Excuse me. It's in here somewhere because I saw it. Oh, they might have. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so what this is saying is MAGA owns McDowell. Derek McDowell sells out for $5,000 to top Trump MAGA donor. We can't trust MAGA McDowell. So pretty much what happened in Youngstown is somebody sent a mass text message out to many people, many voters in Youngstown saying, hey, this guy is a MAGA guy because some top Trump donor also donated $5,000 to this man. So he must be a MAGA person, right? But it seems that did not change anything. Now, let me read the post so after somebody sent this mass message out, then he responded. He put, my heart is broken. My heart is broken for the people willing to spread lies to keep Youngstown exactly where I believe it is, in bondage. My heart is broke for any folks who will likely believe the last-minute, last-ditch efforts of a smear campaign. My heart is broken for those who may turn their backs on our bold new future because they believe that a campaign donation from a Republican or a Democrat could ever define or own me. It could never. My heart is broken. Years ago, I met Clark Olson, a clergyman for the North, who answered the call back in 1965 to come down to Selma, Alabama, and support Dr. Martin Luther King. In this meeting, he spoke of watching his friend James Reed be killed with a surprise blow to the head with a bat. Clark could barely finish telling the story, so his wife stepped up to the podium and spoke on his behalf. This is what she said. Selma broke his heart. She continued on with, but because he has had his heart broken, he can feel things that much more deeply. The statement resonated so strongly with me then that in this moment now, where nasty accusations are presently swirling around, landing in the inbox of folks all over the day before our November 4th election, I can only say my heart is broken, but because I have now had my heart broken, I can feel things that much more deeply for the city that I love. Believe what you will, Youngstown. Vote how you will, Youngstown. All it means is that now, no matter what, I'll love you all that much more deeply, and I won't back down. See you tomorrow. Now, I will say, that's an extremely poetic response. And I think it's a good response. He didn't say he didn't get a donation. He's just saying whatever somebody gave me could never define me or own me. Right? So that's all he's saying. He's calling it a smear campaign because somebody said because of a right-wing donation he received that now he is beholden to the right-wing agenda. That's what somebody says. Now, that's, I think, a good positive post to combat whatever went out, right? A lot of people believe it was a rumor, but a lot of people also believe it's true. I just know he didn't say, hey, I never received a donation from a MAGA person. He didn't say that. And by the way, I did reach out to him to see if he would like to have an interview with me or sit down, talk to me, whatever, do a Zoom call, something like that. So I'm standing by on that. However, Mr. McDowell, if you do see this, because he did add me as a friend earlier this year, if you do come across this, I gotta call it how I see it, regardless. So I do want to speak to you, but I would rather speak to you so you can clear things up. But because I want to speak to you does not mean that I won't say what I think. Okay. Now, here's what's interesting about this post. The interesting part about the post is not the post itself, But the comments, this is a black man, middle-aged, like a little under middle-aged, 40, 50-year-old black man in Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown, Ohio is extremely segregated, right? Black and white people do go to school together, but outside of school, it's segregated, okay? If you go to, I always say this, if you visit Youngstown with a black person, you wouldn't know that there were white people there. If you visit Youngstown with a white person, you wouldn't know there was black people there, right? It's like that. So let me scroll down. Okay, shout out to Mike. Claudia, it's been a person working with the team. You kept it clear. Let me see something here, because some of these people are saying openly. Hold on. Let me hold on. I will say there is an abnormal amount of middle-aged white support on this post, right? Now, McDowell might be popular with white people. I'm just saying there's an abnormal amount for a black man from Youngstown. There's a post, there's a comment in here that I thought was extremely interesting. Though, hold on. And then some of these white people are not even from Youngstown and can't even vote in Youngstown, but they're still in here supporting him for mayor. I found that to be interesting. Hold on, give me a second. Look at this person. Wish I could vote for mayor. Like, this person is not a Youngstown person, but they found their way. That's a middle-aged white person. Hold on, give me a second. There's a joint in here. Oh, hold on. Man. Give me a second. Middle-aged white woman from Deerfield. I'm praying for you, your family, and our city. I pray that our people vote the correct way. Hold on. This is the one right here. Paul Dunleavy. I'm a Christian MAGA guy, and I am voting for Derek McDowell, praying that you are in Lord's will and he chooses you to lead the city. Now, this to me, and I'm not saying Derek has not publicly come out to support anybody on that side of the aisle from what I've seen. But what makes it interesting to me, because I know about how social media works, I know about how these algorithms work, I know about how certain posts get in front of certain people based on their own interests and things like that. I haven't seen McDowell targeting white middle-aged people, right? I'm saying targeting. I haven't seen him target them. I also have not seen him target any right-wingers anywhere. Yet somehow he did something to get the support of Christian MAGA people, right? Again, that's not a knock on him, but what it brings up to me is, how do they know who he is? How are they familiar with him, right? What makes them say, that person aligns with my beliefs, I'm supporting him? Now, there are ways, and there are some people who use social media, and the social media accounts that we see, these are just the ones for everybody else. They have these what some people call burner accounts, and then they'll do their real interacting on those. Do they know him from some other group or something else that we can't see on the servers here? Again, I'm not accusing them. I'm asking, where do they know him from? The person who donated $5,000, how did they find out who he was? Where did it come from? Because essentially, if somebody was able to get, and I'm just saying supposedly, because these people know him from somewhere, and the way that they're in the comments celebrating his victory, it's as if they got one of their own in office. That's what it seems like. That's how the people are talking in these comments. This is the comments from before he won. But after he won, there's a whole lot of Republicans pretty much treating it like, yo, we just got one in there. We got our guy in there. We're about to make Youngstown great again. That's what a lot of people are saying in the comments. So I'm wondering, how do they know who he is? What makes them think he's aligned with their ideologies? What makes them think he's not just like Tito Brown? Because they seem to dislike Tito a lot. So what makes that? What do they know about him that lets them know that he's different? This is what I'm missing. So there's something missing. There's something that a lot of us don't know and have not seen. I definitely am interested to find out, and hopefully I'm gonna probably do a little bit more digging, and I probably will find out, and I'll come back and let y'all know. But it is very odd to me, because the only way to think that somebody aligns with your ideology is to have heard them say it, or for somebody else to have had a conversation with them and spread the word amongst you. Right? So I want everybody to keep their eye on that, because if Youngstown has just become a red city through the mayor's office, that's about to be interesting. I don't know when the last time when the last time Youngstown was run by people who didn't have left-leaning ideologies. Right? Whether white left or black left. I don't know when the last time. It's been a long time, probably. Very, very long time. Right? Probably a century. So that's that on that. Another interesting mayor race is the city so Youngstown, that's the city I'm from. Another interesting one is the city I actually live in. It's called South Fulton, right? All these ads, man, these ads. Okay, give me a second. Let me pull this up because I need to read this. Now, what does this say here? Controversial mayor out of running as South Fulton mayoral race heads to runoff. Let's read what this says here. Nope. Okay. The controversial mayor of South Fulton is out of the running for re-election, but the city of South Fulton won't know who its next mayor will be until next month. What we know, no candidate received more than 50% of the vote in Tuesday's election. Now the mayoral race has been narrowed to two candidates who will face off in a December runoff election. District 2 Councilwoman Carmelita Gums and former Councilman Dr. Mark Baker, who I had on this podcast, I interviewed him, will face off on December 2nd in a runoff after finishing first and second, respectively, in Tuesday's election. Early voting November 22nd through November 26th. Gums, an inaugural member of the South Fulton City Council, led the field of 9 candidates with about 39% of the vote. She said the results show voters are looking for a new direction. They are ready for change in South Fulton. That was the most important thing I walked away with. They are tired of the drama. They are tired of the headlines on the news and missed opportunities, Gums said. Baker, an education consultant and former councilman, he's a former police officer too, called his second place finish a surprise. He said he entered the race late and relied mostly on volunteers. That is true. That's true. He did enter late. The front runners who had a long runway before taking off, and I just feel like what we did, wait, what? Let me read that again. The front runners who had a long runway before taking off, and I just feel like what we did, but we accomplished with the money that we accomplished it with. We really had a shoestring budget and a lot of volunteers who came together to make change for the city they know and love, Baker said. Gums reportedly raised roughly $160,000 for her campaign. Baker said he reached the runoff with about $10,000. Both say they are confident heading into the final stretch. I'm going to just keep running a positive, above-board campaign, Gums said. Interesting that you would say that. Positive, above board. What are you trying to say about Baker? Here's one thing I'll say real quick. So I had okay, let me read this before I even get into it because it's involved with what I'm about to say. Mayor Khalid Kamal out of running for re-election. Dig deeper. Incumbent Mayor Khalid Kamal, who received just over 4% of the vote, 1,268 votes, finished 6th in the 9-candidate field, while former mayor Bill Edwards came in 4th. Kamal has been accused of improperly spending city funds and is currently facing trespassing charges, allegations he denies. Okay, let's see here. Is that the end of it? Okay, that's the end of it. Now, Mark Baker, I had him on the show, right? On the show, we were talking about South Fulton a little bit, and he said Khalid Kamal was actually one of his homies. Like he said, we cool. That's my brother right there. You know what I'm saying? Love him to death. And he said he was supporting him through the stuff he was going through. So Khalid Kamal had caught some charges while he was in office. It looked like he was breaking into somebody's house, but he said he was just looking at a vacant property because he was trying to figure out what was going on with it. Who knows, but he was breaking into it, right? Another thing is they said he was using city funds to buy fancy furniture in City Hall, or he was spending money on a building that he was never using, stuff like that, right? So the city seemed to not be too happy with him. Now, he is actually somebody who won the last election in an upset, because when I first moved here, a man named Bill Edwards was the mayor, right? But I only was able to experience him for like 5 months before the election. So I didn't really know much about him. When I actually voted, I voted for Bill Edwards in the initial general election. But I said, oh, you made it to a runoff with like an underdog that's supposed to be like a pro-black dude. So I'm like, I'm definitely not voting for you, because if you are an incumbent mayor and you are good at what you did, the people of that city would just reelect you. But the fact that he was in a runoff with somebody that was a newcomer that told me the people of the city who were already here, they didn't like you. So when the runoff came, I went with the other person, which was Khalid Kamal. Now, Khalid didn't do everything right. I will say that our city did see some good improvements though under him. A lot of it has to do with the road work, sidewalks, repaving all the neighborhoods, new signs. We got a logo for the city that looks pretty good on our street signs and stuff like that. So he made it really feel like a good suburban Atlanta city. He really made it look separate from actual Atlanta. So I'm not mad at him, but he did some stuff that people can't get over. He did a lot of foolishness, and he said it. I used to watch the city council meetings and stuff. They used to be arguing crazy. So people didn't like him at all. Okay. Now, Mark Baker. What I'll say about Mark Baker is it's interesting that he got the votes that he got, because he didn't run. I didn't see him do much that looked like he was actually in a position to win. I'm surprised, because his following on social media is like 20 times the following of Carmelita Gums, right? She only has like 1,700 followers or something like that on Instagram. He has like close to 50,000. So, and I said 20 times, it's a lot more than that. But I was surprised that he wasn't able to use the following that he has. And a following is nothing, like really, but I'm surprised he wasn't able to use the following he has in the Atlanta area to get more people to support his campaign, right? And I'm not even talking about money. I mean, just social media posts alone. Literally, when I was in line voting on Tuesday, the people that were in line with me said, I don't know who I'm voting for. I don't know who none of these people are. They literally did not know who any of the candidates were. There were 9 candidates, and the people that were voting in our city had no idea who they were. I think they all did a bad job campaigning. I'm going to just be real. Now, this is what I think, and this is what I'm trying to make happen, or what I want to make happen. I haven't done anything towards it yet. I want to be able to set up a debate between Councilwoman Gums and Mark Baker, Dr. Mark Baker. We can do it on this platform, right? But we'll go to an event place. I'm thinking maybe one of the libraries, and we'll stream it live straight to YouTube, let the people see. Y'all need to have a conversation, answer some questions that the people of the city of South Fulton will have for you, and get some more visibility on y'all, because y'all don't have enough visibility. People who are voting don't know who y'all are. Let me pull up the numbers of the people who actually showed up to vote. Let me pull this up so y'all can see. Now I'm going to read. Let me show y'all so you can actually see. Okay, these are the numbers here. South Fulton mayor race. Okay. Gums got 39%. That's 10,000 votes, right? Baker, 5,000 votes. Bill Edwards, 4,000 votes. Joseph Adeyemi, I don't know, 1,700 votes. Ray Mills, 1,300 votes. Khalid Kamal, who was the incumbent, only got 1,200 votes and 4%. Let me see here. Jewel Johnson, 1,100. Kelvin Davis, 700. Ryan Olson, 300. Only 26,000 people voted. This is a city of a little over 100,000 people. You know what I'm saying? So that means that these people didn't even, this is the main mayoral election, and only 26,000 people came out. When it comes to the runoff, they'll probably see less than 10,000 people show up for the runoff. When it comes to runoff elections, a lot less people show up. First of all, a lot of places don't even have runoff elections, right? Georgia has it where you pretty much have to get you have to get over 50% of the vote to win a general election. If you don't, it don't matter what happened. It don't matter if you got 48 and everybody else got 13. You can't win, right? So, or let's say 17, right? As I said. So if you don't get 50% or more, you have to go into a runoff election. We've seen this in Atlanta. Remember the Atlanta race where it was Felicia Moore versus Andre Dickens versus Kasim Reed. Felicia Moore was actually the favorite of that race. But because she didn't get 50% in that race, that gave Andre Dickens a chance to win in the runoff. And that's exactly what happened, right? So we've seen things, and this is a similar situation here. So because only 26,000 people showed up, and because we know a lot of people do not show up in the runoff like they do in the main election, Mark Baker actually does have a good chance to win depending on how he markets, right? So this is why I think y'all let's do a debate, because it's important enough. I think it's important enough to do a debate for a runoff election, because I know they had a few events while they were campaigning during the regular cycle, but they weren't impactful at all. Oh, snap. These weren't impactful events, right? So I think y'all need to get more impactful. And I think you do that by coming to a platform that's based in South Fulton, right? It's based in South Fulton. If you could find a bigger platform, cool, find a bigger one. But this is it's not the biggest platform in South Fulton, of course, but I mean, 4,000 subscribers. I have more subscribers than your fourth place person in the got votes. So you can come through. Let's do it on this channel, or even if let me host it, let me moderate it, and we can do it on a bigger channel if one of y'all have more followers. That's fine with me too. I'll do all the production, set it up the way it needs to be set up. But y'all need more visibility, because too many people don't know who y'all are. It's not a good thing. So I will be reaching out to people and seeing what we can make happen within the next 2 weeks. All right. Man, I spent 30 minutes talking about mayor races. Once again, shout out to that Sir Davis. Shout out to Sir Davis. Okay. Now, as you all might know, the government shutdown is still active right now. And what that means is things that are funded by the federal government, most things that are funded by the federal government have been halted. Because they've been halted, people are not getting money that they rely on. One of the most talked about items right now is EBT, SNAP benefits. In other words, food stamps. Food stamps are on hold right now for the 50 states. Now, what I did find out is that Washington, D.C. has its own SNAP program, pretty much like a local SNAP program. So they actually funded their local one, right? It's not based on, but D.C. is a federal city, but it's not from that budget, the federal government budget. They actually have their own money that they give for food benefits. So in D.C., they actually still gave out benefits. But let's read, because this is very, very interesting to me. Hold on, man. Hold up. Give me a second. Hold on, y'all. My mouth got dry. Listen. Look, y'all. Sir Davis, the drink of champions. No. SNAP benefits. Let's read this article. Balance zero. SNAP recipients go without food after benefits don't arrive. This is a tragedy. November payments have been significantly delayed, forcing families to go hungry. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration to distribute benefits in full by Friday. Now, reading about this judge's order is definitely interesting because if a judge had the power to order this, they should have ordered it a couple weeks ago. But let's read. Gia Haley is trying to survive on water and coffee. Jesus. Haley, 41, says she had been out of groceries since October 29th, and the monthly $2.98 she receives in food assistance did not arrive as it ordinarily would have on Wednesday. The black coffee kind of kills my appetite, she said. Haley is one of more than 40 million people across the country who count on the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, a federal benefit that dates back to the 1930s. But disruptions to SNAP, also known as food stamps, during what has become the longest government shutdown in American history have left recipients facing imminent hunger, unable to restock their pantries or refrigerators. This is not cool. Although the Trump administration said partial funds would be distributed this month, a response to a lawsuit challenging its plans to suspend SNAP payments during the shutdown, recipients who were due to receive their benefits this week have empty balances. On Thursday, the federal judge in the lawsuit ordered the Trump administration to distribute SNAP funding in full to states by Friday, though it remains to be seen whether recipients' electronic benefit cards would be refilled that quickly. Previously, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins has said it could take several weeks to deliver the benefits. Now, somebody please tell me why. Hold on. Please tell me why a system that is wholly and fully and completely electronic, that has been operating for decades, now needs weeks to distribute funds when this is the first time that it's been cut off ever. Every piece of infrastructure that they had in place to distribute funds, to do disbursements and all things like that should still be in place. So are they telling me, this is now what I just thought, what just came to my mind as I was talking. It sounds like they, because it's the federal government and they move slow, they are doing manual disbursements. When I say manual, I mean there's people having to control these payments every time they make payments. There's a group of people triggering these payments. It's not automated at all. If it were, they wouldn't need to take weeks to distribute anything. It would just be instant. As soon as the money came, they could hit a switch and say, all right, send it out. So this is very odd to me, but I guess it's the federal government, so they have to keep a lot of jobs. So what they do is they refuse to automate certain things because there's a lot of employment that comes with that. Okay. Already, the delay has forced millions of families to go by on small collections from food banks or the generosity of loved ones. Many face the prospect of falling short on bills so they can eat, or like Haley, are foregoing meals altogether. I will get hunger pains at some point, but I just ignore them, she said, fighting back tears. I just tell myself I'm on a fast. Look at that picture. Pantry empty, fridge empty. All they got is condiments. Sheesh. SNAP has never lapsed during a government shutdown before. That's important to say because the government has shut down before. So people might be thinking, well, what did they do before? It has never lapsed during a government shutdown, meaning even during a government shutdown, the presidential administration at whatever time has still distributed funds to be used for SNAP because he has the power to do that. Trump just decided not to until it was too late. SNAP has never lapsed during a government shutdown before. The turmoil and resulting uncertainty about when their economic benefit cards will be reloaded has put recipients on edge, with many parents unsure of how they will feed their children. I haven't been sleeping, said Erica Arnerson, 40, a single mother who is disabled and lives in Tacoma, Washington. I'm so stressed that I'm up all night. Arneson said that she was due to receive $546 in SNAP benefits on Monday, but her account balance is still zero. She apologized to her 17-year-old son for being unable to provide his favorite meal. I had to tell him last night we're not going to be able to do burritos until I don't know when, because we don't have the meat or the cheese. Kaylee Green's account is empty too. Starting Saturday, her EBT card should have had $100 on it to feed her family of 4. It breaks my heart because I never had to tell my kids no for food. They know when I get food stamps, they're saying, "Mommy, your food money should be here." And I'm trying to explain to them we're not getting our food money right now, said Green, 33, who lives in Monticello, New York, a rural area 2 hours from Manhattan. In the lawsuit over SNAP fund, hold on. They get $1,000 for 4 kids, or that's a New York thing? I need to know about that. Let me figure that out. In a lawsuit over SNAP funding, the Department of Agriculture had argued that it could not legally use contingency funds for the program during the shutdown because the money was earmarked for situations like natural disasters. After the federal judge ordered the Trump administration last week to distribute benefits as soon as possible, the administration said it would partially fund the program in November. It planned to use $4.65 billion in contingency funds to cover 65% of the allotments that eligible households would ordinarily get. I guess some money is better than no money, but people trying to go through Thanksgiving without any money for food is different. It's different. Thursday's order that the administration must immediately distribute SNAP funding in full came in response to an emergency filing from Democracy Forward, the progressive group that brought the lawsuit. All right, shout out to Democracy Forward, y'all. Shout out to y'all. The White House did not respond to a request for comment. When asked about the delayed SNAP payments and recipients' challenge, a USDA spokesperson said in a statement that Senate Democrats voted 14 times against reopening the government and are withholding services to the American people. In Midlothian, Texas, a suburb of Dallas and Fort Worth, Amber Templin is struggling to feed her 5 children, including 2 who she said have special needs and eat limited diets. Templin, 31, says she has no cash savings. She typically receives a $540 deposit on an EBT card on the 6th day of each month, she said. But the state health department told her via text message that her funds will not be issued at this time, leaving her balance at zero on Thursday. You see what I'm saying about that New York lady? The New York lady has 4 kids and getting $1,000. This lady in Texas has 5 kids getting $540. Pretty much half the money of the lady with less kids than her. So that's just straight from New York stuff. Like their food costs that much more money than everybody else. For her to get $1,000, what's this about? Well, I guess it's income based also, right? So yeah, maybe. What are we supposed to do? It's now a choice between food and bills, Templin said. Do we keep a roof over our head or do I feed my children? Do I pay the electricity bill or do I feed my children? That's sick. She got Raymond tatted across her forehead, though. You see that? Templin makes a living cleaning houses and offices, a small business she launched in March. Okay, you can't tell me that she's making too much money to get $1,000 then. But things have slowed since summer since she has applied she applied for various part-time roles, including a gas station, a towing company, a hotel, and some grocery stores. Even if she gets one of those jobs, the wages will be low. Nobody wants to pay part-time workers what it takes to support your family, Templin said. She has heard that some SNAP beneficiaries are donating blood or plasma for extra cash, but Templin says she can't even do that because she has cirrhosis and anemia. Food banks across the country say they are being stretched thin because of the sheer amount of need. Operation Food Search, which serves people in Illinois and Missouri, have seen record demand, according to Kristen Wild, the organization's president. Wild says some food pantries have been forced to limit the amount they give families or the number of times a family can visit. Others have closed early after running out of food. Jeez. The fact that since Saturday people have not had those funds on their EBT card has led people to be in desperate situation and going hungry. Not just not eating well or not eating nutritionally, but not having food to put on the table. Her organization is relying on private and corporate donations to meet the moment, she said. Dozens of states have freed up funds to support food banks and supplement the loss of SNAP benefits. Look at this. Now, I thought this was interesting. This actually shows, like, you could see each county and what percentage of that county is getting SNAP benefits. I'm an interactive map junkie. I went through so many of these counties and pulled up the actual county to see the demographics of the county. Look at this one. I found in Cameron, Texas, there are 426,000 people, right? Let me show you something. 426,000 people. 89% of that is Hispanic. Cameron, Texas, down here, 26% of that county gets SNAP benefits. That's 105,000 people getting SNAP benefits in that county, right? Fulton County is right on par with the average. Fulton County is a pretty black county. Okay, so pretty much if you look at this map, let me make it bigger. If you look at this map, the lighter areas are counties with a lower percentage of SNAP beneficiaries or SNAP recipients, right? Excuse me. The darker colors are counties with higher percentages of SNAP benefits. So where you see the highest concentration, certain pockets you see here in Alabama, right? Pickens County at 18%. You got Greene County, 30%. Hale County, 27.9%. Perry County, 39%. That was 30. Let me see. What was that? Wilcox, 30%. So that section, like central Alabama, they're going through it out there. This parts of Georgia, Washington County, Georgia, super white area. Warren County, Georgia, super white area. Johnson, 27% white area. Then you got, I think, Dooley County, 21%. You got Macon County, that's a black area, almost 30%, 28.5%. Taylor County, Georgia, 30%. Webster, 26%. Terrell County, 32%. There's some high ones. The real high, this is the highest one I've seen. Let me see, where's it at? South Dakota. Oglala, Lakota County. 53% of that county is getting SNAP benefits. Let me show y'all who lives there. I already looked it up, so I know who lives there, but I want to show y'all who lives in that county. It is called Oglala, Lakota County in South Dakota. Watch this. Hold on, let me show y'all who's living there. Let me show y'all who's living there. There's only 13,000 people there, okay? However, let me show y'all who's living there, in case you didn't realize it. 91% Native American. The county with the highest percentage of people receiving SNAP benefits, 91% of that county is Native American. And the other pieces is pretty much all white, because these Hispanic people, mostly white people. There's nobody else there. 0% for everybody else. Like I told y'all, I'm a map junkie. The places with see, these Native American spots have Todd County, another one that's heavy Native American. Let's go to Todd County and let me show y'all how many people are there. There's less people there. It's like less than 10,000, I think. Todd County, South Dakota. Yeah, less than 10,000. But it's about the concentration of people on SNAP. 83% Native American, 8% white, 3% Asian, 2% Hispanic. And they are getting it at 41%. So those appear to be the highest counties with SNAP benefits, the ones I could find. I haven't found anything higher than 53%. So as far as pockets, and then you have these areas here that are in the dark blue. I mean the heavy blue, right? Saturated blue areas. A lot of Latino people in South Texas, in New Mexico, right over here in Arizona. Look at this here. This is Alaska. Look at the concentration of people in Alaska getting food stamps. Let's pull up one of these here. What was that? 50. So this is the second highest area. Bethel census area. They are getting, no, that's not, okay. Kusilvak. Let me see if I can find that. There's only 8,000 people there. But let's see who's living there. 86% Native American. So what is it about? You know, this is the thing, right? This could go on a whole different conversation. What is it about Native Americans in the places that they live that have such high concentrations of people receiving SNAP benefits? Now, of course, there could be some laws in place that we don't know about where they just say, hey, if because of what happened to Native American people in this country, if they sign up for it, they'll get it no matter what. Maybe there's some type of rule like that I don't know about. But until I find that out, I'm going to assume that there's nothing like that, right? I'm going to assume that there is nothing like that. I'm going to assume that there's nothing like that and say they are just out there struggling. You know, they have high alcohol use rates. They have high drug use rates. And they're struggling to find employment because when the white man came through this country and stole all their land and decided many years later that they would give them some called reservations, they put them in the middle of nowhere on land that could not make them any money. Now, yes, there's some oil out in some of these places, but they're not getting, that money is not trickling down to everybody. For the majority of the people on the land that Native Americans have in this country on what's called a reservation, they can't make a dime off it. It's barren land. There's nothing growing there, tumbleweeds, and there's nothing they could do with it. These people came from Virginia. Well, I'm saying Virginia. I don't know what they called it back in the day, but they come from the coast, like the East Coast. They was in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, heavy. They got pushed out of these nutrient-rich soil places and got pushed into places that can't sustain life. So, of course, they have to use SNAP at these rates. You understand? Matter of fact, look at this. Oregon has a lot of counties with some high concentrations of EBT for SNAP benefits. But anyway, let me go back to my Native American take. So the thing about it is, self-sufficiency is about more than just having your own land and things. If that land is not in a place that can help you produce anything, if that land is landlocked, put you in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by deserts and mountains and terrain that nobody wants to traverse, then it's the same thing as not having any land, because they are out there poor as hell, doing bad, right? And they have it. So this is why I love the fact that black people didn't let go of the South, because y'all know that black people started traveling west and started Denver, Colorado was Denver, Colorado was settled first by a black person. Black people did travel west, but I'm glad they didn't all leave. I'm glad we didn't all leave the South. I'm glad we didn't all leave the East Coast, because the valuable land is in the South and on the East Coast. Of course, there's value on the West Coast because there's just value out there. There's a lot of rich people and rich businesses out there, but it's not the land itself. The land that has the most value is in the South and the East Coast. You understand? They're not growing. I mean, they do have some massive farms out there in California. I won't say they're not growing nothing. But the most valuable land is the South and the East Coast. This is by far. Okay. America was built into what it is now based off of farming and agriculture and plantation business in the South. Let's be real about it. Okay. Black people knew not to leave the South. And for the people that did leave the South during the Great Migration, a lot of their grandkids are coming back South. I'm back in the South now. Pretty much my mom, my aunt, my grandma, we back down South now. A lot of people that went up there are down South again because the value was in the South and the East. Native Americans let them people run them all up into the mountains out in the middle of North Dakota and South Dakota and Iowa and Idaho and all this. Like, y'all can't do nothing with that land out there. So now they effed up getting SNAP benefits. Your kids on drugs out there. Your kids can't stop drinking alcohol out there. You understand? And y'all got 50% SNAP benefit rate. There's no black area with that type of concentration. You understand? And we out here not doing the best at all. But for a group of people that have their own stuff, their own land and their own ability to make money and wild tax laws in their favor and stuff like that, for them to be living like that is kind of wild. It's very wild to me. But like I said, there could be a situation where they get it automatically and I just don't know about it. I don't know. But that's all I got, man. I'm good. I don't have anything left to talk about. There's other things I could talk about, like Donald Trump saying he was going to run for a third term, or somebody saying that he was going to pull some type of trick where JD Vance was going to run and Trump would be the vice president or running mate. And then once JD Vance won, somehow he was going to resign and that was going to make it so Trump could be president again. I don't know why anybody would do that. Why would JD Vance do that? If he could actually win the presidency, then why step down? I mean, tell Trump to go kick rocks, right? But who knows? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they really feel like that's a viable option for him to be president. Some people feel like he's trying to be president forever. I don't think he is. I think he just wants to be president more than 2 terms so he can say he's the one that did it. He figured out a way to do it. When I look at the 22nd Amendment, hold on. When I look at it, hold on. Let me see something real quick. See, I know they were trying to say that, like that whole using, excuse me. They were trying to say like if they use JD Vance, that's a way around it. But when I'm reading that amendment, it's almost like even if you are, you can't become president. See, they're trying to make it seem like the law says you can't be elected 3 times or more than twice. I got to read it again because I don't remember right now. I did this research a month ago when I was supposed to talk about it. That's all I got for y'all. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share your thoughts. Please comment below. All that good stuff like that. I'll see y'all next week. Hopefully I do the right thing and come back next week. Oh, by the way, look, I made a video and I was talking about trying to get back outside, socializing and everything like that. I see a few people hit me and say, yo, like, I'm the same way. We need to link up. You know what I'm saying? And I might say, like, let's just put together something. Let's put together like a recluse retreat. You know what I'm saying? Where we just get out, not a retreat, you know what I mean? But like a meetup, something like that, where we say, all right, all the people that have been stuck in the house for years and just haven't gotten out because they ain't been comfortable, stuff like that. Maybe we need to come outside and just link up and be uncomfortable around each other. Because here's the thing about being a recluse. Meeting up with other people like you is not going to make you comfortable. You're still going to be uncomfortable. However, you will be around a bunch of people that understand the discomfort and feel it too. Some people call it empathy. Okay. You will be around other people who can empathize with you, right? People who know how you feel, who experience the same thing you feel, right? So maybe we put together something like that for my recluses, because it's not about introverts. Introverts can be social as well. I used to be an introvert. Something happened. Some things happened. I know what happened. and it morphed me into a recluse. I don't want to be like that no more. I want to go back to my old self. You understand? So I'm gonna get back. You understand? I'm going through the proper steps and everything like that to get myself together, and it's going to happen. And I'm gonna be back outside. Shout out to everybody in Atlanta that, you know, that has been missing out on me. But you will find me in places. You understand? So y'all have a good week. I'm gone.